welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Glenfarclas Family Cask 1993. Dustin, my first Glenfarclas Family Cask. Yep. Not easy to get.
First one I've got to try.
Yeah, not easy to get here in the States. Hear a lot about them. I've been sent samples.
Yeah.
But this is the first bottle I was able to get, so online retailer I got about a year ago. Haven't drank a ton of it, but I thought it'd be nice during the summertime to bring you.
Oh wow, you really haven't had much of that one.
Yeah, what I always thought of was a summertime whiskey. Very nice packaging for these family casks. This nice wooden box, got a little padding in here with a lovely little book that seems to go above and beyond what you would think.
Yeah.
Packaging would normally come with, but if you've had any of these Glenfarclas Family Cask, you know what I mean.
It's Instagram model thick.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So a little bit about 1993, and then bottled in 2014, comes in at 59.1% ABV. Bottling date was the 14th of July, 2014, and this is one of 530 bottles.
I'm like, I didn't do the math. What's the actual age there?
I guess,
you know what? 21?
Yeah, 21 years.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's on, well, it could technically be 20.
Okay, 20, 21.
20, yeah, I would say 21 years old. And what type is a refill sherry butt? So doesn't say how many times it was refilled. Looks pretty light though.
Based on the color, if it's a second fill, it was a full maturation in that first fill one. Otherwise, it's probably a third fill. Glenfarclas, let's be honest, they like to get their money's worth out of their casks.
Yes, when I heard refill sherry and I saw the color of it, once I finally got it in my hand, I was a little surprised how light it was, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It can still impart good flavor without necessarily imparting color. And
they don't tell us what kind of, sherry cask. Maybe it's more like a Fino, which I believe tend to be a little lighter in color.
Yeah, that could definitely be possible. So again, very, very light whiskey, 59.1% ABV, cask strength. And again, it was rare that I could get my hand on a family cask. I was kind of excited to get it. I remember I was telling you and Keith about it.
We definitely talked about that bottle, for sure.
Quite a bit. And, so when I got it, first opened up, it was a little closed off, so let's see what it's offering after about a year of it.
It's not closed off anymore, Mike. This is big, this is bold, this is sweet. It's fruity, but there's definitely a lot of oak coming in.
Sweet oak. Yeah,
you definitely can tell there's a sherry cask here, but I honestly would not think Oloroso right away.
It's not a dark sherry, it doesn't feel like at all.
Yeah, this much more has me thinking, and I've not had enough experimentation, but more of like that Manzanilla, Fino, where
I can see that. I can see Fino.
And I don't have a lot of those experiences, and I've not had an Amontillado that I can remember offhand, but I don't get the dark fruits at all.
No. As a matter of fact, what I get is apples and lemons.
Yeah, there's a little sawdust there at the end, which I think is a staple of Glenfarclas' malt, because they get on every expression they do. I don't know if it's the Rick House or the Dunnage Warehouse. I'm not sure exactly how Glenfarclas ages their cask. Yeah, this is classic Glenfarclas, turned up. This actually reminds me a lot of like the 17 year, which is my favorite of like their standard core releases. If it were cask strength, turned up, not quite the one you had, which was a little more dark sherry, but more the one I've got, which is less dark sherry. Hashtag inconsistent bottling. Yeah.
But now some darker notes are coming up with it if you just with a little bit of time. So along with that lemon and apple and a green apple.
I'm getting like wood glue.
I'm getting that Glenfarclas characteristic. Yeah. Sometimes I kind of...
Carpenter putty.
Yeah, which glue isn't far away from it.
Yeah.
But almost like a plum note to it as well.
Maybe a cornbread. But very dry, not sweet cornbread.
This did initially smell pretty sweet, but it does smell dry as well.
There's some big vanilla in here.
Big time.
Yeah, it's almost like a funky vanilla too. And that's the oak kind of playing a role with it.
This is an interesting whiskey, that's for sure. There's a lot of, we're dancing around with a lot of fruit notes and vanilla, which is, what you're talking oak, which you'd expect to get some oak notes out of a 21-year-old cask, even if it was used a few times. But again, it's more fresh fruit. It's more vibrant lemons and apples and maybe pears than it is anything super dark. Maybe I could see a plum after you're in it for a minute, but what's it like on the palate?
Young. Wow.
Young, huh?
Hot.
60%.
Wow. I'm not getting the fruitiness here. I can't wait to have water, and I want a big dollop of water in this one. But I'm getting a lot of like the oak notes, which again has me going back to older, but These are the oak notes I think of when I get like a Cadenhead 10, 12-year-old whiskey, where somehow they got like some good oak flavor to come in, but it's not old oak. It's young, youthful. A lot of sawdust, a lot of bitters. There's a lot of spice, pepper. There's a couple of spices in here. I mean, they're really bold.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of the same things, but aside from that, there's a huge lemon, a very acidic
That
sting to it on the side of the tongue.
there was acid.
Very acidic. Yeah, that's, I mean, just like lemon pledge squirted in your eye.
Yeah, I think though, up front, and I remember this last time we had this, which has been a while, is that it really needed water.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd forgotten that until I took a sip, and I was like, "That's right, we needed water."
I mean, it's a bit hot, you're right. Which is sort of strange for it being over 20 years old. I mean, it's at least 20 years old, if not 21 years old. It's like the cask the cask influence feels thin.
Yeah, my guess is this is a third fill. Jokes aside, because I often make the joke that all Glenfarclas use 35th fill sherry casks.
Oh, third, fourth, fifth fill.
Yeah, it's not 30th, but this is probably a third fill, and it's probably a true sherry butt. So it's those really large casks, so you get less influence.
Yeah, less contact with the wood.
Yeah, but it's still got a lot of wood in here. It's just
it's very acidic, very lemon.
I'm getting a little bit more berry now on the note with the water, Mike.
Again, maybe I got a little bit of a plum note, but that's as dark or as far away I get from anything super acidic.
Yeah, but there's nothing else changing on here. It's the same whiskey I was nosing earlier.
Yeah, sort of disappointing on the nose in general.
I like the nose more than the palate so far, but let's get back into it.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's also disappointing on the nose.
Oh.
Definitely a little disappointing on the palate as well. I mean, because again, when you think like Glenfarclas Family Cask, like I've been sent samples before from people, but I've been sent really good samples. 34, 46, or whatever. I mean, the guy from Montreal sent me a crazy old one. I mean, those were epic sherried whiskeys. They were like 68 and 73 something, or 62, 1962. Where this, the 1993s, that's a more recent incarnation of it. But, my level of expectation was way higher than this. You still getting hot fire on that thing?
No, it's come down, but it's now fruitier. And I'm getting like a lemon tart meets like a orange tart kind of thing, where there's some burnt brown sugar, and it's really burnt. A lot of oak. There's an astringency here, Mike, that I haven't gotten in a whiskey this old ever.
I agree.
I mean, this
is very
this isn't
tart,
and this is not a. Oftentimes we do criticize Glenfarclas's malt, base malt, because we're not big fans of it.
No,
but I don't dislike it, and I've actually over the last year I've actually grown to appreciate it a little bit more.
Agreed.
But this
is not one of them.
This is not the malt's fault. This is the casks. These casks did bad things here.
Yeah, this wasn't.
Or they didn't do anything. I don't know. One of the two.
Yeah, this wasn't a overly priced whiskey. It's like $250, maybe something like that. So I was like, well, it was only I get my hands on. I'm a little skeptical of why I could.
Yeah.
And now I know this probably wasn't their best foot forward.
Yeah. No.
Glenfarclas to me is like Macallan. I want it as heavily sherried as humanly possible. Or Adelauer, you know what I mean? I want you to hide your malt as much as possible with it, first fill cask strength. I don't care if it's younger, 10 years or whatever. It's just sometimes when these guys make the whiskey too thin or the cask doesn't do a very good job, the sherry cask doesn't do a very good job, it's just left with a very mediocre experience.
I want at least the upfront initial thought to be sherry with Glenfarclas, Now, I don't mind getting the Glenfarclas malt character in the finish. I actually kind of enjoy that.
Sure.
But yeah, I want the showcase to be good casks. When you call a bottle Family Casks, I expect this to be cask driven. You know what this is? This was not a good cask to drive it forward.
Or not a cask driven in a direction that I want to go. I mean, some people like the desert. That's just not me.
That desert's actually a good thing. This is extremely drying on the palate.
It is.
Like, I actually left that note off. I mean, literally, my mouth felt dried out instantly when I tasted this.
Assaulted almost.
Yeah, offensively so.
That's the weird thing. So, I mean, obviously it's been a disappointment of a whiskey for me, sadly. And I'll try another one. But in general, I'm not overly impressed with Glenfarclas, so take that for what it's worth. Maybe I just can't appreciate this whiskey, but I've shared it with a few people. No one's been impressed.
I've liked every Glenfarclas we've had more than this one.
I agree.
This is probably my least favorite. Now, I've not had the 10, the 12. I've only been 17 up.
Agreed.
But
yeah, I would grab, if I was at the bar and someone was buying me the drink, I would grab either one of those over this. This is not whiskey I drink. I mean, again, I've had it open for a year. You can see how far I've drank it down,
I mean, usually we like to bring bottles at least here, another couple inches down.
And I wanted to give it time. I mean, it was cask strength. It was a single cask. I figure, okay, I'll drink it down a little bit, let it oxidize for 8, 9, 10 months. And again, the nose did open up.
Yeah.
And the nose is easier to, it's more accessible, but it's not anything that's a showstopper. And the palate is just not fun.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay, so a little bit of a heart of a whiskey to rate as far as the score. I mean, it's Glenfarclas Family Cask. You would think it would be a decently higher rating,
Yeah.
but I gotta tell you, dude, I'm at 83 out of 100.
I tell you what, Mike, I'm really debating this one. I want to go into the high 70s, and then I want to stay in the low 80s because I like the cask strength. I like the disclosure on the bottle.
There are positives.
There are. The problem is
You don't like the taste.
I don't like the taste, and I don't like the way how hot it is on the mouth. Again,
Don't like is a strong statement. It's not bad. It's just not anything that I would want to go back to.
I'd put it this way: on the taste, I'd probably go as low as 75.
I agree.
On
That's part of it.
the texture, the way it feels, probably about the same. I will say the nose is actually pretty good.
I agree.
I actually enjoy smelling this one. I enjoy nosing it. It's probably an 85.
But what do you say the finish is? I mean, is it anything? Do you think like, oh, it had a good finish? I wouldn't say it had a good finish.
It's probably an 80. So I'm going to go 79 on this one.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it I got to go under 80. I don't want to drink it.
It's an impressive whiskey.
And it's not just I don't want to drink it. I just think there's some legitimately bad notes in here.
There's some offense. There was some, again, the lemon and everything is fine, but then it got too acidic. It was just overdone in the wrong spots.
The level of drying, the bitterness, the astringency,
Yes.
and the fact that it came off so young on such an old whiskey.
Shocking almost.
In my opinion, these are like objectively off notes. Like that just shouldn't have happened on this whiskey. It's not like my opinion is I don't like Glenfarclas' malt, so it's a poor score. I actually think the malt here is actually helping save.
It's not the worst thing.
No, it's actually helping it
You're right.
dramatically.
It's not the worst thing about this, and you're right. That's not one of the things that I normally gravitate to. But you know what? I know a couple. We know Mary, a couple of people that are Glenfarclas fans. I'm gonna let them try it, see if they like it better. Maybe it's us.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway,
Let us know in the comments if you
Yeah.
guys have had this particular family cask. Are we crazy? Are we missing something here? Does Mike just need to let this sit for another year?
I mean, I will. I will. So yeah, Glenfarclas 1993. Let us know what you guys think. That's where we're at as far as a whiskey score. Again, let us know what you think in the comment section if you had a chance to try this one. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.